Hello everybody, it is me, ThatTrainerD, and I just want to ask real quick, as you watch the video, please do think about subscribing and liking the video, maybe even sharing it out to people who you think might be interested in it. A little bit goes a long way, and I would really appreciate any support on these videos, because believe it or not, I do work hard on the videos. I promise. Anyways, onto the video. Everyone has been talking about and theorizing what the starters of Pokemon Legends ZA will be, and obviously I'm included in this, of course. While it feels like everyone has figured out, or think they have figured out, the starters being Snivy, Litten, and Piplup, I'm not so sure. While yes, all three have ties or can at least connect to France, I think it's important to remember that we really don't know the rules of the Legends games. While yes, they are in the past, doesn't mean that the starters will be different. We could very well get the normal Kalos starters, Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie, but with Megas now, which I wouldn't mind, to be honest. But if you remember in XY, we got two sets of starters. What if they do the same in Pokemon Legends ZA? Like we get a new jumble of starters, but also the Kalos starters. While it can go either way, I think giving us the new starters first and then the Kalos starters with new Megas would be the way to go. It'll be a cool little callback to the original games. But now that bears the question, what will those new starters be? While people are going after Pokemon who seemingly have more obvious connections to France, I wanted to go for something a little more out there, and I'm begging y'all to hear me out on these. We're going to start off with the grass type, and for that I chose Turtwig. Now it's not only because Turtwig's my favorite starter, just hear me out. While I do understand there's no obvious ties to France, there's tons of turtle statues around France. Plus there's a random turtle statue with grapes in its mouth at Place de la Victoire in Bordeaux. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I do not know how to pronounce these names. Which is made of copper, which I could see a neutral terraform being grass rock or grass steel, with a hedge maze on top of its shell, or of those fancy trees hedge mazes have. You know what I'm talking about. The big fancy, those big fancy trees that usually decorate fancy gardens. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Plus, hedge mazes have a lot of history, from being symbols of wealth and power, to being used for love courtships, and even used as an allegory for existence. So I think it would fit very well in representing the more pristine beauty side of France, in my opinion. Come on. Y'all know you want a fancy Torterra. Don't lie to me. Next up, Piplup. Now this one might be more understandable. Obviously the original line is based off of performance seals, opera, and mermaids/sirens, but I was recently reminded by a video made by Johto Johnny, check him out, that France not only has its own mermaid statues, being the Marinella mermaid, but also the legend of Melusine, which is depicted as a woman with a snake lower half, but is also depicted as having a lower half of a fish. Melusine has ties to France's real-life history as well. She's even said to have been represented as a fertility deity, or fertility figure. Now the typing would be tricky, maybe water dark, since in the original story she was cursed by her mother. I know that's iffy. Or maybe water flying, not as strong, but she was said to visit her sons crying and flying around the castle. That's a reach. It's stupid, I know, but still. And last but not least, now this one might be more obvious pick, Torchic. Obviously, it has an obvious connection to France, the rooster being the national symbol of France. It used to be a religious symbol, was also depicted on coins and engravings, also is an emblem of French sports teams. Pretty much is insanely relevant in France. What may be important is that it was a sign of hope and faith. Now this may be out there, but what if we get a plague Doctor form. I know that's weird after I just said it was a symbol of hope and faith. But if you think about it, the Plague Doctors had to have a lot of hope and faith with the things they were doing. Yes, they weren't around when the games take place, but they are part of French's history and culture. Obviously, there would need to be tweaks, but I think it would be a great fit. Maybe Fire Poison or Fire Dark, maybe Fire Fairy, but I think that's a stretch as well. The Fire Fairy, I'm thinking more of, it's like, in this version, it can actually heal people. But I don't know. Now, but I wanted to put my hand in the ring and see if I could at least come up with a cool starter trio that could make some people happy. Tell me your thoughts down below. I really want to know what you think. We can have a nice conversation about what the starters could be, what they couldn't be, blah 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 blah. Y'all already know. If you liked the video, please leave a like, share, subscribe, and just thank you for checking out the video. It means a lot. It has been ThatTrainerD, and I'm out.